Hi, I'm Nikolai, aka 56 Miner, and today we'll be unboxing our October Basics box. This month's box is all about ink, a super versatile medium that's a lot of fun. We'll go over how to use the materials in the box, go over some foundations, and I'll share some tips and tricks that I picked up when working with them. Let's get into it. For our surface this month, we have the Arnhem Cotton Paper Pad in warm white. This cotton rag paper is super absorbent and perfect for ink. Our first art supply is going to be the Bimoji Fude pen from Kuretake in navy. This versatile bristle ink pen is inspired by traditional Japanese tools and is a super versatile medium. By using just the tip and some light pressure, we can create thin, consistent marks, or with a little bit more pressure and an angle, we can create thick, varied lines. Quick, dynamic marks will reveal some of that texture of the Arnhem paper, and by slowing down with a steady hand, we can get a more graphic or solid style. Think of these as kind of the foundations of the medium. Here, let's take a couple solid lines and we'll do a quick drawing. Using a slow angled mark, we'll create a side of a feather. That center line that we did before is going to act as our quill. By varying the sides of our feather, we can create a sense of form and shape. Try following along at home, and remember, a slow and steady hand will always give you a consistent mark. We can make these a little bit more dynamic by breaking up the feather sides, just adding a little bit more variance and a little bit of interest. By layering our marks, we can darken up the quill and add a little bit more definition to the plumage. The Arnhem paper is great for layering ink because it just dries so quickly. This helps to avoid smudging, and you can work pretty fast. Here, I'll layer some of that ink and you can really see how dark, almost like a rich black, we can achieve just with this one material. Now, in my opinion, an ink box wouldn't be complete without a gel pen. The white Jelly Roll gel pen is the best one on the market, though it can be a little bit tricky if you're not familiar with them. The trick with gel pens is to use a light pressure. Pushing too hard won't allow the ink to reach the paper, and you can get a really nice dark white if you just touch ever so lightly. Let's use it to break up the outline of our feather and make it look a little bit more natural. Our next item offers a bit of sparkle, and it's going to be the Speedball Calligraphy ink in copper. And to apply this metallic ink, we have the Angle Shader from Princeton in a 3/8 inch size. This brush is great as it offers thin or thick lines, and you can use it to fill in large areas with color. Using just the tip, we can create lines with a little bit of variance to them, or we can create a more consistent mark by adjusting our hand position. By using just a little bit of that Speedball ink, you can create a kind of textured patina effect with the texture of the Arnhem paper, or you can create solid blocks of color with just a little bit of water in that ink. This brush creates a lot of really fun strokes and is a great tool if you're interested in calligraphy or any kind of hand lettering. I really love the copper color. It's kind of perfect for fall right now. You can do leaves or a pumpkin. One of my favorite things with this brush though is actually to create kind of geometric effects, since it just gives us kind of clean and distinct lines. Our next item is going to be a bottle of Higgins Black Magic ink. Ink is a super pigment-rich medium, so this bottle should last you a really long time. Due to the unique properties of our pad, you might have to layer the ink a few times to reach a saturated dark black. A lot of people don't realize that ink can be a very subtle medium. By washing out our brush with a little bit of water, we can achieve some very subtle values, and by working quickly, we can minimize streaks. While streaks will always happen due to the nature of the medium, we can minimize that by using an excess of water on our pad. By layering these washes, we can create a sense of form and build value, but it's really important that you let each layer dry fully before going back in. Otherwise, you can't achieve those nice crisp edges. For this next portion, let's grab the Goldfaber 2H pencil included in our box and sketch out some floral shapes. Hard lead pencils are great because they offer light lines, and because the lead isn't soft, we don't have to worry about smudging when we go back in with water. If you're interested in floral illustration, definitely go and check out last month's video. We do a deep dive into kind of how to render flowers and go over several techniques that you can use in your own drawings. With my basic shapes established, I'll go in and add some water into those areas. For this next technique, you'll want to work fairly quickly as you don't want the paper to dry. Taking just a little bit of our Higgins ink, I'm going to dot in while that paper is still wet, and this will create a subtle blooming effect. This is a great technique for more abstract shapes, or if you want kind of a tie-dye effect. Washing out my brush a bit, I'll use the same technique on the opposite side of the petals, and I'll offer a more three-dimensional effect. If you feel like you've added a little bit too much ink to the page, you can always lift it up with a paper towel, or take some of that pigment off using a dry brush. To finish up our flowers, let's grab the last item in our box, the Pigma Micron from Sakura in a 0.5mm size. Microns are great as they offer thin, consistent lines, and they're a great complement to this blooming effect. We'll have that nice subtle gradient with those really clear and distinct outlines. It's super important that you let the ink dry fully before going back in with a micron, otherwise you won't get those nice clean lines. If you're looking to have your line work be a bit more natural, try breaking up your lines a bit. Those little subtle breaks are just a little bit kinder to the eye and will offer a little bit more realism. Microns are great if you like to do kind of any journaling or pattern work. You can also do dot work, which is a great way to create value within a piece, and cross-hatching, which is where you cross lines in order to create darker areas. Because our micron is waterproof, I can go back in with our brush and darken up some areas after the lines are fully dry. This will allow us to establish a little bit more form on those petals so they look a little bit more realistic. Finally, I'll go in with our jelly roll and add some highlights. This is definitely my favorite part, but like we talked about before, it's super important that you let that paper dry fully and that you don't apply too much pressure when working with that gel pen. I would definitely suggest saving this step for last, as you don't want to go in and layer ink on top of the gel pen as it might smear. Try using these techniques in creating your own piece of artwork this month. It takes a little bit of patience, but I definitely suggest trying to build values in those subtle washes, or try working in a more graphic style like we did with our brush pen. If you post your work online, make sure you use hashtag SketchBoxOctober. We love seeing what y'all create each month. SketchBox School is now on YouTube, so make sure to head over there to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next month.